Hey friends, it is Stephanie with Three Queens Resale, and I am done with my trip to the bin. So I thought on this ride home, I would share you 5 tips for sourcing at the bins. So if that sounds good, stay tuned. Next up is this Columbia. Welcome, friends. It's Stephanie with Three Queens Resale, and if you are new here, welcome, welcome, welcome. I am a full-time fashion reseller. What that means is I find pre-owned clothing, shoes, and accessories from places like the Goodwill Outlet, friends, family, church family, those people, and I flip them online for profit. So on sites like Poshmark, eBay, Mercari, and Depop, and I also do live shows on Posh Shows and whatnot. And I've applied to Jumble as well, and I'm waiting to see if I am accepted. So I thought I would start each ride home video with something that I picked up that was new to me that I could share with you. Sometimes these get lost in the haul videos, so I wanted to share with you. This is new to me. The brand is Vega Designs, and this is a tube top. And it is a skin to skin. It's called a like koala tube top. So you can, there's a hole in here for you to stick your newborn baby in, and so you can have this on and you're wearing this and the baby's there, and you're skin to skin, so you can be like typing or whatever, or laying down, and your baby's nice and secure, skin to skin. And of course this is a specialty item. You're only going to use it for a short time in your life. I looked up comps. I saw them listed anywhere from $20 to $40. I'm probably going to shoot in the middle at $30 and take offers. But I just thought this was amazing, and I wish there would have been something like this. There probably was 10 years ago when I had my last baby, but I am branching out into the maternity market on whatnot, on the live auctions. But I'm going to list this because it's a unique piece, and then if it doesn't sell by the time I do my first live auction, maybe I'll pull it for that. But yeah, so Vega Designs, keep a lookout for it, and I'll let you know how much it sells for when it sells. So let's put this baby in reverse and hit the road. Okay, so 5 tips for the bins. First of all, I live in central Indiana, and there's somebody, I got here at 9:15 a.m. My goal is to be here when they opened, but the devil won't let me be great, or at least Smoothie King, and they were slow on my smoothie. So I'm gonna go. Okay, he's looking for a spot, so we're going back out the other way. So I got here at 9:15ish, and I'm gonna start either coming really late or really early. I've tried lots of different times. I don't think it matters, actually, except for the crowds, because the bins roll out, throughout the whole day. So, and they keep refilling them every hour. At this one, up till 5 p.m. And then 5 p.m. is the last one. We got the AC on. We're going to put that up so my hair is not all over the place. So the tips. So I will have been reselling for 5 years, and in July. And I have been going to the bins pretty... I used to go when I first started, maybe once every 3 months or so. And I wouldn't get that many things. And then now as a full-time reseller, I go 2 to 3 times a week. I normally get 2 to 3 IKEA bags, and I don't go back until I've hauled, done a video, and washed the items and sent them down to my husband to process, because he does all the steaming and photograph and all that. So that's kind of my process. But let me get to the tips, because we only got 20 minutes here. or less. So tip number one when going to the Goodwill Outlet is to go in with an open mind. So the first time I went to the Goodwill Outlet, I went and then I didn't go back for like 6 months because I was like, ugh. So there are a lot of different people, a lot of different types of people, and by types I mean like races, creeds, nationalities, ages, just different types of people, and our social norms and hygienes are different. So and it used to be, not this one, because this one's not the outlet I go to, it's relatively new. The very first outlet I went to, I felt like it was really dirty. I don't think this one is dirty. So, I mean, the bathrooms are clean and everything. I don't think this one's dirty. So, the very first time I went, I was like, this is not for me. Ooh, gross. Germs, yuck. Not doing it. And so there was that element. And then there was the element that people were just wild. Grabby, pushy, aggressive, wild. And so I didn't want to do it. And then as I got more and more into reselling, I would go back, I'd give it a try. And now over time, like these people that are at the bins, the regular ones, they are like my coworkers. Like we speak, I talk to them about my kids, even the Goodwill employees. So I said that to say, if you have gone to the outlet and you're like, it was so disgusting, it was so gross, it's not for me, I'm going to implore you to try again. Just because you have to, I used to say when I was a middle school teacher, the key to success at that job was low expectations. Don't expect the day to go too well, and you won't be disappointed. And that, I know that's not the best approach to life, but it worked. And so going to the bins, I think if you go in with the lowest expectations and that I'm just going to get some cheap stuff and I have to like dig and work for it, put my earbuds on and go, you'll be fine. If you're one who has a bunch of questions or don't want people bumping your car or you're too sensitive, then you can't have these deals. That's it. You cannot have the best deals, and you are going to get the best deals. For instance, I got a Love Shack fancy dress. I have never found Love Shack fancy anywhere, not even the consignment shops I go to in the richy rich areas of town. I got a dress at the bins and it sold on eBay in less than a day for over $70. So you are not going to find those types of flips anywhere else. So that's why you need to just give it a try, reset yourself, and get back out there with an open mind. Like, no preconceived notions about people, places, or things. Just go in with an open mind that you're going to adapt. Number two, I would say, would be to focus yourself. There is so much stuff. Glassware, printers, baby diapers, shoes, bins and bins and bins of clothes. So, and I had trouble with this at the beginning, but when I go now, well, for instance, I don't pick up smalls or extra smalls typically. You guys have heard me say this in my haul videos because I have so many small items already that have not sold. So that's just knowing your inventory. So unless it is a high-end designer item or something like that Love Shack fancy dress or something I know that is going to flip right away, I don't even pick up smalls. So that's one way of focusing yourself, is by size. Another way is to focus yourself by what you are looking for. There are some days, for instance, I didn't look at shoes today. We have so many shoes that need to be cleaned. Shoes are heavy in weight. So it makes no sense for me to continue to source shoes when I know that we are backed up on shoe cleaning. Right now, I'm gonna catch that up this weekend. We are backed up on shoe cleaning, so I'm not going to add that weight, that bulk, to my trip this time. Let me get caught up on shoes. Let me focus on other things that we need. So things that we need are things that are lightweight for the auctions, and I have several different auctions that I am sourcing for. Plus size, so I'm gonna look for good quality plus size items. Kids, I'm always looking for kids. In our last kids show, we sold 52 items, so I need to replenish those. I want to get my kids auctions up to 200 pieces in the auction to start. That be my par, and kind of keep it at that, because when people come into a kids auction, they normally buy everything in their kid size. So I want to have a lot of variety for age groups. But at the same time, when looking at kids, I have decided to lower my kids' range. I was sourcing basically newborn to size 14. I am going to bring it down to size 10 because I have a child myself. She is a 10-year-old, and she is now at the point where she does not want me to pick out her clothes. She does not want me buying her clothes online. She's okay with stuff from the Goodwill. She's been going to Goodwill since she was in my tummy. She's okay with it. She just wants to pick it out. So I figure a lot of 10-year-olds are like that. So I'm not going to source those things anymore. I'm going to sell out what I have and then focus on that age group. For the auctions, for listing, we're focusing on in-season women's wear that we can list for $25 and more. So those are the things I'm focusing. So I'm going to throw men's wear to the side. I did pick up a couple of men's pieces, and I'll explain why in the haul. But focus yourself. What are you looking for? What brands are you looking for? Now, you can pick it because there's lots of good stuff. There is lots of good low-level stuff that is so much good stuff that you cannot get it all. So don't try. Just focus yourself and look for what you want to sell in your business, and you'll be fine. Tip number 3. It says be observant and learn the social norms. So like any workplace, and that's what the Goodwill Outlet is to me. It is my workplace where I get the items to sell. So like any workplace, there's social norms. So when the workers call for rotation, where do you go? What's the protocol for, saving a car? What do you do if there is no car? What's the protocol if someone's car is blocking the aisle? Do you take your car in the aisle? What's the protocol if, someone is too close to you, or is reaching over you? These are all social norms that you kind of have to observe, and learn, and it takes more than one time. The more you see people do stuff, for instance, you cannot get into the bins, and I noticed today they were letting people creep up and be hovering, but normally you have to stay behind the blue line. So I always stay behind the blue line, even though people were breaking the rules today, and I'm just not going to do that. I didn't do that. I haven't done that in any of my jobs. So I'm going to respect the rules that the Goodwill has in place. And you know what? It's not my job I don't work for the Goodwill. I don't work at the bins. They have staff there, and if they're not going to tell people to get back, that's on them. It's going to cause an issue that they have to deal with, but I am going to be standing where I'm supposed to. I go there so often that they know me, And they're like, bye, Stephanie. Have a great weekend. See you on Monday. So I am not going to disrespect them. And even if I wasn't there as often as I am, I would not. This traffic is moving fast. I still would not disrespect them or the other patrons. I see the same people every time I go. I'm sure they're resellers or maybe they're just hoarders. I don't know. But I speak to them and, ask them how their day is. Now, sometimes I put my ear pods in and I do what I do. They don't allow recording or live selling in my Goodwill. I know I see people like Flip the World on whatnot. He's going live from the Goodwill Outlet selling things that he has sourced right there in his cart. I wish I could do that, but they don't want recording in that one. There are a lot of kids, and I don't know why this is school still in session here, but there are a lot of kids, I guess they're babies, like non-school age kids, but in the Goodwill, and so maybe that is their reasoning, but they've asked me not to record in there, and so you will never see footage from inside that Goodwill outlet. Now, if I go to another one where they don't mind that you record inside, you'll see some footage. But that's out of respect and I'm not going to argue. I'm not going to be like, I seen Flip the World in Houston, and he's I'm not going to do that, because the people that I see all the time have asked me not to. Tip number 4. We're cruising along, and I'm cruising along at home. So this kind of relates to the social norms. So tip number 4 is don't be aggressive, but stand your ground. I don't know what has happened to people, but we have lost our civility, our ability to communicate, our ability to mind our manners, okay? Not every situation needs to be threatening, escalated, a big deal. A lot of times, the word excuse me will work. And not in a excuse me or excuse you. It's never excuse you. It's excuse me. I used to say that when I was teaching to my students. It's always excuse me. So if there is a situation, and there can be, because there are people grabbing things, and I saw 2 ladies fight over a Rubbermaid stand. It has one of the Rubbermaid things that has the drawers, it's white with the clear drawers, physically push and shove each other over that. And I'm like, oh my God, I feel like I want to go buy one of you one so you both have one, but come on now. So people are, and that's why I feel and they both got kicked out. I feel like the workers have got to set the tone and not let people creep up and run and do dangerous things, because that's the type of stuff that happens. But something that has happened to me when I first started, shoes, I will say in the shoe bins, you take your life in your own hands. But once again, if you want the good stuff, you've got to get in there. I'll do a different video on my shoe strategy. But you've got to get in there, and then 99% of the time at the bins I go to, they are not mated up. Don't expect it. It's like a vicious game of memory match. So I was in the shoes. This young man, he was probably 17 or 18, but he was very tall, and my husband's tall, so he was probably his height. But this kid was really, really thin. He wasn't girthy like my husband is, but he was like a spider monkey, and he was reaching and grabbing and jumping over. Seriously, he was super athletic, and he was reckless abandon. He had this tub, and he was jumping over and jumping around and reaching around, and he bumped into me aggressively multiple times in pursuit of shoes. That was the time I got the Christian Louboutins. So this was like 3 or 4 years ago when I got the Christian Louboutins. But he did all that, and I got the Christian Louboutins. But he was wild and hitting, and so I looked at him dead in his face, and I said, if you touch me one more time, I am going to knock you the fuck out. And he was like, I'm sorry, ma'am. Like, and I just looked him dead in his eye. That could have gone horribly wrong for me, so I don't suggest cussing at people. But, you know, and he was a younger kid, and I am not a young girl. But he understood that what he was doing was not cool, but nobody said anything to him about it. And it took me saying something to him, and then he was done. He was done, like, doing it to everybody. So, you know, stand your ground and be like, dude, like, you are out of pocket. You know, and, you know, I didn't argue, and I see him all the time. And, you know, that was like 3 years ago. He's a grown man now. So he must go to school or something, because I don't see him as much during the day. But if I come on the weekends, he'll be here. I don't know what he was doing with the stuff. Shit, I'm trying to feed my family. He might be trying to help support his family too. Although he's a young man, so I don't know, like a teenager. But I think he was helping his mom get things. But I appreciate his hustle, but he was invading my space and touching me, bumping into me. So don't be afraid to be like, no. But at the same time, use your manners. Even though I didn't use my manners in that one. But I got the Christian Louboutins. He didn't even know what those were. I think he was trying to get tennis shoes. Unless they're right in front of my face, I don't get tennis shoes, because it's just not my jam. Everything, and that's the thing, everybody is not wanting the same thing, so you don't have to be super aggressive. And then my 5th tip is inspect the items that you pick up. So you guys see me get burned with this all the time, and I'm really trying to, not all the time, but pretty often. And if you come on my live shows, sometimes I'll still find the stuff. Make sure that the zipper works. So these are things that were donated to the Goodwill and didn't sell at the Goodwill. Now there are raw donations. Like I dropped off some raw donations today. There are raw donations in which people just bring their stuff there. Like they don't ever go to a Goodwill store. And there are things that never touch the Goodwill store floor because they just have too much, so they come straight to the outlet. But for the most part, you've got to go in with the mindset that these are the things that are at the Goodwill and didn't sell. Probably because the Goodwill has gone out of their mind pricing, and so that's why they didn't sell. But that's the mindset I feel like you should start with. Therefore, you need to inspect the items thoroughly, especially if you're reselling them. Make sure it has all the buttons, make sure it has the pockets. I don't like to buy things without a size label and a care tag. So I try to make sure it has those things. You can check the hole for the pockets for holes, the hems, the crotch area. Just do a inspection, and you can do that during the rotation. But make sure you inspect the items that you got and look up comps. Like I said at the top of the video, there is so much stuff there, good stuff, that you can get overwhelmed and just be like a grabby person and want it all. And if you are coming from far away, driving hours and hours to the Goodwill Outlet, you should make your trip worth it. I live close to the outlet, so I don't have to get all the things that day. But inspect, look up comps, make sure they fall within, they're worth reselling. Make sure they fall within your guidelines of what's acceptable for you to list. And, you know, in my 5 years of reselling, that has changed. When I was a part-time reseller, you know, if I liked it, I bought it and flipped it. And now that I'm a full-time reseller and, you know, we have to list great volume, there are things that I keep in mind as far as weight, size, seasonality, that I didn't before, because we are listing things, we get them and they're listed in less than a week of me receiving them. So that is why it's important for me to know the comps and it to be in season, because I want it to sell within the next 30 to 60 days. But those are my tips. Let me know in the comments, my bins, Goodwill Outlet shoppers. Let me know some of the social norms that you have at your Goodwill Outlet, as well as any tips that I left out that you would add to new Goodwill Outlet shoppers. And I am about a minute, 2 turns from home. So I will see you in the next one. If you like these tip videos and Goodwill Outlet ride home videos, give me a like, support this video, share it with your friends, and share it on your socials. And of course, subscribe and follow. I am working on getting monetized, so if you could watch a few more videos, I would appreciate it, so I can get my watch times up. And I will see you in the next one, friends. Have a great day.